All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Florida Millennial. I don't have a name for the show yet. I really should have a name for this stream because I do intend, I promise, and I'm late. I'm sorry for being late. I do intend to go live multiple times a week. Every night, going live every night may be a bit of a stretch, but I'm going to try and go live as much as possible during the week. This week was a bit of a write off. And the reason for that is because I was at a conference from Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, and Wednesday night. I was at a conference. So I was there 6 o'clock to 9, and I get home at 10. And sometimes it wasn't optimal to do a stream because sometimes I will come on here and just shoot the breeze, but I like to come on here and actually do a real stream with real topics. And I got to tell you, by the way, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Subscribe to my YouTube channel in the bottom right-hand corner. There should be an image of me down there. Down there. Down there. Or if you're watching on X, you can follow me on X, Florida Millennial. On YouTube, Florida Millennial. On X. So what was I saying? Tonight, I wanted to do a stream starting at 9 o'clock, like I had said on my Twitter feed, on my X feed. But something came up, and I had to go drive somewhere, so I wasn't able to start it at 9 like I wanted to. I wasn't able to prepare like I wanted to, so I'm late, and I'm sorry. However, even had I had more time to prepare, I don't think there was much to prepare for because there's no news this week. There's nothing. Now, yes, there's polling. There's always polling. And I can come on here and talk about Trump. And I don't mind doing all that because that's how this channel was birthed. That's what this channel is about. It's about polling. It's about the election, electoral college predictions, election analysis, and that kind of thing. But I do want to try and make the channel more than just that. I want to make the channel about world events, about news, about things going on, about culture. I want to reach outside of the political sphere. Now, obviously we are in a political season right now, so it's very difficult to do that. And I don't mind. Look, the reason I created the channel is because I like talking about this stuff. I like talking about polling. I like talking about the horse race. I like talking about the campaign. I like analyzing polling data. I like talking about it. I like talking about the effects debates have on the campaign, how certain strategies are working or not working. So that's kind of my thing. So I don't mind talking about all that. But I do want to start talking about everything else. I'm sorry, but I'm very congested tonight. So this is going to be a show where I am congested and a little tired, but we're going to make it good. We're going to talk about a lot, even though, as I say, there isn't really much going on in the news this week. But once there is more news, I will be talking about not only the horse race, but I'll be talking about other things because I don't want to bore people with just Trump. I think people are a little bit exhausted with the nonstop Trump, Kamala. I don't know about you, but when Biden dropped out, I was kind of relieved for many other reasons, of course, but I was relieved because I was tired of hearing about Biden. I was tired of hearing about Hunter Biden. I was just tired of the whole thing. So, but now it's Kamala, and now we're growing tired of that too. But we're thankful for the campaign. because it drives a lot of traffic. I'm never wearing the sweater again. I love the sweater, but the t-shirt always annoys me how it creeps out like that. Creeps up like that. There was a time when I would wear for every live stream. I think I'm going to get back to doing that actually. There was a time when I would wear a jacket and a shirt for every stream. You can go back and look at my old streams, my old videos. There was almost never a time when I was not wearing a jacket because I liked it. I liked looking more professional doing the show. Now I just come on here and I wear a polo. I guess I don't know. Is this because from living down here now? I dress casually or something. I just throw on a polo or I throw on a sweatshirt. Like maybe on Friday streams or whatever, or Thursday streams, I'll do a little casual action. But I think I want to get back to dressing professionally for the stream. I don't care how many people are watching. It's still just, and I think it's more too, it's like a statement because I go out into society now. I go out into the world. I'm telling you, it's annoying me. I go out into the world. I'm not going to stop till I fix it. Watch my viewers go down. Whatever. I go out into the world and all I see is sloppiness. All I see is people wearing sweatpants, people wearing slides and flip-flops, and it's just disgusting. I hate it. I hate how we've become such a crass society. Like, if you go out, look, there's one thing if you're running to the store quick, I get it, or whatever. Coming back from the gym, I don't know. The other day I was lounging around in joggers, and unexpectedly we had to go somewhere. So I thought, well, I can either break my own rule here and I can go out wearing the joggers and the t-shirt, or I cannot do that and I can change so I don't become the thing that I hate the most, which is you go out and it's people are wearing flip-flops, people are wearing slides, people are wearing sweatpants, joggers, t-shirts that look like they slept in them, hoodies, I guess hoodies, whatever. It's horrible. And so I think we need to get back to like the time when we were more classy. You look back, you ever look at those videos where it's like 1952 in New York City or like 1940 in Chicago, and everyone's in a suit, everyone's looking nice, everyone's dressed nicely. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play my role, play my part, and start dressing up more. If for no other reason, to stop my stupid t-shirt from doing this. It's so annoying. Ugh. I tell you. Unbelievable. Anyway, so I'm not going to, I think I'm going to, maybe I'll wear the sweater or a polo or something for the casual stream, but not for the regular stream, which will hopefully start next week. We will do regular streams. It's going to be a regular show. So click the bell to get a notification when I go live on YouTube, because that is going to be where you will be notified that I'm going live. Okay? All right. So that's done. That's finished. I also need to get I'm doing a whole bunch of housekeeping right off the bat. I also need to get a pop filter for the mic. I said I would do that, and I didn't. This week, in many ways, my attention was in other places. My hair is crazy, so this stream is you just got to roll with it. Okay, this is This is not the bar we want to set, but we're going to make the most of it tonight because I wanted to go live because I haven't gone live in so long. And in order to grow the channel, I need to go live. I need to do shows every night. And as I said, sometimes it gets difficult because there's no news. What do you want me to come on here and tell you? Oh, the race is tied again. So there are some stuff I'm going to talk about tonight about Trump and Kamala. But as I say, there's not a whole lot. There's not a whole lot to go over. Honestly, it's like it's pretty basic stuff. But there are a few things I want to talk about, and I will start off by saying please subscribe and like and comment. I will read the comments if you leave them in the live chat. I will respond to them. Comments, questions, slander, everything, whatever you want. I will read them. So I saw last night that, two things happened last night. The first thing that happened was that the Teamsters union decided not to endorse anybody. And this is big news. This is very big news because the Teamsters union, it's really sort of like the Democrat base, right? In years past, the Teamsters union was always those were Democrat voters. Those are where people who voted Democrat lived. Those you could count on that group. You could count on that group if you're the Democrat Party. You could count on them to always vote your way. But there has been a tectonic shift, if you will, in the Republican Party and Democrat Party. And this Teamsters poll, which let me bring it up for you here in a second. Let me just see here. Okay, so first of all, I want to show you the 2020 Teamsters poll. This is a straw poll, I guess, of all the members. I'll read it to you in a second. Give me 1 second. Share a screen. Okay. All right, so there it is. That's the 2020 Teamsters presidential town hall. Now let me town hall straw polls. Let me read it to you first about what it says it is. Okay, this is Teamsters released presidential endorsement polling data. This is on the Teamsters X account. For the past year, the Teamsters Union has pledged to conduct the most inclusive, democratic, and transparent presidential endorsement process in the history of our 121-year-old organization. And today, we are delivering on that promise to our members, said Teamsters General President Sean M. O'Brien. Our members are the union, and their voices and opinions must be at the forefront of everything the Teamsters do. Our final decision around a possible presidential endorsement will not be made lightly, but you can be sure it will be driven directly by our diverse membership. The Teamsters have not yet endorsed any candidate for U.S. president. The union's General Executive Board expects to announce a decision on Wednesday. Of course, we now know that decision was no decision. They announced they are not endorsing anybody, which I can tell you that really is just an endorsement for Trump. They do not want to come out and say that, but that's what that is. They're endorsing Trump, okay? Because let me just tee this up a little bit before we get started into what all this means. For many years, the Teamsters or blue collar unions in general all across the country have, for many decades, not only has the leadership supported Democrat candidates, the rank and file, as they call it, has supported Democrat candidates as well. And that has been the case for many, many years. Now, I need to go back and check, but I believe in 1996 they did not endorse the Democrat candidate, if I'm not mistaken. I need to check on that though. Anyways, point is the union leadership of the Teamsters and the rank and file have for many, many years been Democrat stalwarts. They've been Democrat strongholds. But because the parties have changed so much, that is just not the case anymore. And case in point, we look at this was the straw poll. Now, hold on a second. I'm not sure. Was this 2020 or was this taken before Biden dropped out? I'm not sure. There isn't. Oh, yes. Okay. Here it is. April 9th to July. So that means this is even bigger because if this were 2020, you'd think, well, it's 4 years ago. Maybe things changed anyway. But I'm pretty sure this poll, this is before July 3rd. Okay. And it was of the Teamsters. This is the poll of the union members. Okay. Biden 44, Trump 36, RFK 5, Cornel West 1.7. So an 8-point lead for Joe Biden. This is in July. Now let's go to now. Harris 34, Trump 59.6. So basically 60% to Trump. That's like a 50, what is that, 15-point lead? If you are going to focus on any poll this election season, it has to be this one. This is the most important poll in my mind that we've received so far. And one reason why I think it's so significant, I'm going to try and fix this once and for all. Give me a second. The reason this poll is so significant in my mind is because, number one, it's a real poll. Now, all polls are real. Of course, you say, what do you mean a real poll? This is a real poll. These are real members voting. This is a tally. This is a straw poll. So you don't have to worry about sampling. You don't have to worry about, demographics. You don't have to worry about anything like that, any technicalities. These are just, here are the members. Here's how they're voting. So that's number one. It's a real poll. Number two, it shows a huge shift from Biden to Harris. Or should I word this better? It shows a huge shift from a Biden lead among this group to a Trump lead, a Trump huge lead among this group. Now, I have been going on for many, many streams and many, many videos about how if Trump wants to win this election, he has to focus on the white working class. The white working class is who got him elected in 2016. And the white working class is why he did not get reelected in 2020. And we hear about women, and we hear about Hispanics, and we hear about every other group under the sun, but we never hear about the one group that Trump really lost that election by. And if you want, I can bring up the polling again. This was exit polling. Exit polling from 2020 showed that Trump had his biggest losses from 2016 to 2020 in white working class men, and in particular white working class, but in particular white working class men. White working class, yes, but more particularly and more specifically, white working class men. That is where he lost the election. He went from, I believe, winning them by a couple points to losing them, I think, by like 10. I can't remember how the exact numbers. I'd have to go dig into it because it's tough. You need to find it. And I had to do some digging to actually find the crosstabs on it, on the exit polling. There were other groups where he lost ground a little bit here and there. Women a little bit. Did better with Hispanics. But if you look at the numbers, he actually did much, much worse with white working class men. So if he wants to win this election, he needs white working class men. And here's the reason why these voters are so significant in this election cycle as opposed to 2012 or 2008. I mean, they're always significant, but they're more significant now because of where the swing states are. There was a time when the swing states were Florida, Virginia, and yes, Ohio. Florida, Virginia, Iowa. These are not states where there's a huge white working class contingent. But if we're talking about Pennsylvania and Michigan and Wisconsin, this is the bread and butter of those states. That is how you win those states. That is why John Fetterman, in shorts and a hoodie, beat Mehmet Oz, who is a brain surgeon. And it's not really party related, it's more class related. And you think, well, wait a second. If it's class related, how on earth can Donald J. Trump win those states when he's a billionaire from Manhattan? Well, I'm glad you asked. Because for whatever reason, and I could get into the reasons, but there are some reasons. But I don't really want to bore you with them all. But there are reasons. Trump has always been popular with the working class, blue collar. When he was a developer in New York, he was loved more by the men actually building the development, the hard hats, than he was by the financiers or anybody else. And that trend has continued to now when he's running for president yet again. So Trump already has many of those voters who really like him. Now, here's the rub, and here's why I'm pulling up this polling for you. Because it's one thing to look at this poll and say Harris 34, Trump 60. Okay, fine. We get it. The working class are voting Republican. But if you watch this, you see that just a few short months ago, Joe Biden was winning that group. So there's been a huge shift. This is the group that Kamala fears the most because this is the group that is going to send her back to California in November. If they vote in large numbers. Because Kamala does not have the same appeal with white working class voters as Joe Biden does. And I am beginning to possibly come to the conclusion, and this was pointed out to me by David Chapman when I had him on the show a couple weeks ago. Well, I guess this was the first time he was on the show. I think he made this remark. Was that Biden actually was probably a better candidate than Kamala. And you say, well, how can that be? Because when Biden left, he had a 38% approval rating. Here's the point. Those voters would have come home to vote for Biden, I think. Some would have stayed home. Maybe some would have gone to Trump, but most of them would have come home and voted for Biden. But most importantly, these voters would have voted for Biden. But they are not going to vote for Kamala, as we see when we skip ahead to the second poll here, which shows that Trump is leading by a lot with this group. So to me, this is the group that Trump has to focus on. He has to go after this group. He has to talk about the issues that this group loves: trade, jobs, immigration. Now, MSNBC and whoever else, they can call it racist. They can call it whatever the heck they want to call it. But these voters, this is how Trump won. And this is how Trump will win again. But you have to turn them out. They have to come out for you. You have to make sure that in Pennsylvania and Michigan and Wisconsin, and I personally say he should focus on Michigan and Pennsylvania, because I think Wisconsin is tougher. And I think if you focus on Michigan and Pennsylvania, Wisconsin might come along for the ride. You know, if you're doing well enough with this group, usually, they all three of them vote in synchro. But also, I think he needs to win Michigan and Pennsylvania, because I'm not as comfortable with Georgia as I used to be. And I think it might be time for a new electoral college map update, because Georgia seems to be pretty tight. Pennsylvania is too, but I'm starting to believe he has a better shot at Pennsylvania and Michigan than he does at just leaving Georgia and getting Pennsylvania, which would basically win him the election if he holds Arizona. Not holds Arizona, but look, Arizona, I tend to think it's going to vote for Trump. I think 2020 was an aberration, and I hate to repeat myself, but look, Biden was a middle road Democrat. He was not extreme. He was viewed as like Obama's vice president, very mainstream, very working class pedigree. That's how he won Arizona and those other states. But I don't think a lot of those voters who went for Biden are ready to vote for someone like Kamala. I really don't. And Trump has to make sure these voters turn out. And so that brings me to, and I talked about this on my last live stream, and I know this happened on the weekend, so it's kind of old news by now. But when Trump made the tweet about Taylor Swift, everyone's kind of freaking out, and I already went over the panic attack that Ryan Gerdusky and all these other types were having. Ari Fleischer, they're all freaking out that it's like a big mistake for Trump to tweet he hates Taylor Swift. They can't get the joke. But here's the point is too, and you should have seen, and I have learned something. If I want to boost engagement on my videos, all I have to do is mention Taylor Swift in the video and in the title and talk about her. Because when I talk about her, the views go up. The views skyrocket. The only problem is the algorithm sends all of her fangirls to my video, and I just get comment after comment after comment. And that's not really a problem because my engagement's amazing. But then I just see all these crazy comments defending Taylor Swift. And I see some political people saying about how stupid it is for Trump to attack her. And I'm not going to talk about Taylor Swift for much longer, I promise. But point is, things like that don't hurt him with this group. And this group is who he needs. He needs these people. He should be focusing on these people. And when you run a campaign for these people, you will win these people and you will win others too. If you focus on the white working class, guess what? Usually you're going to win the Hispanic working class. So that's, I think, the most important story of the week when it comes to the campaign. And I've noticed it has just, and this is very predictable, but it has been pushed aside by the media. They do not want to talk about this. They do not want to address this, and I wonder why. And of course, they say, well, we want to reflect the diversity of our brotherhood or whatever they say. Well, if they really wanted to reflect it, they would endorse Trump because it looks like their membership wants Trump as president. But of course, they're not going to do that. So they just abstained, which in essence, is, as I said, in essence, them abstaining is an endorsement of Trump. That's how I would take it. So there's that. The second thing I want to talk about, and again, for those joining just now, I do not want to talk about Trump every single night for the whole show. I don't intend to do that. I'm not going to do that. But because it's an election season campaign, and that's sort of what the channel is about campaigning and polling and the rest of it. I do have to talk, and I don't mind talking about all this, but it's just, I'm going to talk about Trump and Kamala a lot over the next 2 months. But I want to make sure that these shows are interesting, that these streams are interesting, bring on interesting people. And when it's just me, which is most of the time, 99% of the time, I want to talk about interesting stuff, and that goes outside of whatever's going on in the horse race. But for tonight, that's what we will mostly be talking about. My second comment I want to make is about the decision of the Trump campaign to go to New York. And I have to tell you, when I saw that Trump was campaigning in New York, I'm carrying on with my day. I'm doing things. Let me just make sure this is zoomed in a little bit more. I'm kind of going on with my day and doing things, and then I see out of nowhere, I see that, wait a second, Trump is in Long Island? And I'm thinking to myself, why? Like, okay, cool, he's filling Nassau Coliseum. Is it still called Nassau Coliseum, by the way? I always call it Nassau Coliseum because that's where I watch the Islanders play. But I see that he's in New York, Nassau Coliseum. And before he even gets there, I see that he's in a crypto bar making a Bitcoin transaction. And I gotta tell you, as cool as it was, and I did see the videos of him leaving the stage and going on stage and in Long Island, and the place is going crazy and it's full and it's a real vibe, and the people aren't being bussed in. They're real people. You can tell they're real New Yorkers coming to see Trump. And I feel good for them because Trump typically does not visit New York unless he's going there for some trial. So it's like they don't get to see him very often. So I completely understand the excitement they had. And I'm in a way, I'm happy he went there. But when it comes to strictly campaign tactics, I don't know why they're doing this. And I started to think, maybe, is it possible that there is a fundraiser there? Was he going to raise money? And then he thought, well, let's just go do this while we're here. I don't know, but I got to tell you, I don't understand it. I don't understand the point of going to a state that he's going to lose. And I see people on X posting about Trump can win New York. New York is in play. I'm sorry to break it to you all, but no, it is not in play. New York is not in play. Is it possible that New York will be closer than it was in 2020 and 2016? 2015? Yes. There's a lot happening in New York right now. A lot of even normies are ticked off at in New York City, at least, at the extremist DAs and politicians and the crime and the drugs and everything else. They're ticked off, and the migrants. So they don't like what's going on. But is that enough for Trump to win the state? No. So my question is, what is the point of him campaigning in New York? And I'll tell you what kind of upset me even more about it when I heard that he was in New York is that in light of what's been going on lately, unless he really needs to go to New York, I would not be going to New York. I would not be bringing him into that snake pit. But they did. And it looks like the rally was hype. It looks like the rally was fun. It looked like the rally was awesome, which it always is with him. But as you can see in this poll that I have up here, this was done September 11th to September 16th, so it's a very recent poll. He is trailing Kamala Harris by 13 points there. So I understand wanting to project confidence. I understand wanting to get out there and just be aggressive and be fearless. And I totally understand that. And maybe there's a reason they were there. Maybe there is like a fundraiser I don't know about. Maybe there's something going on there that I'm not aware of. But I just know what's going on. It's Jason Miller. Let's go to New York. Yeah, you got here. I've got an idea. You're gonna go to New York, and here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put you in to a crypto bar, and you're gonna buy something using Bitcoin in the bar, and that's gonna be cool. And like, we're gonna surround you, and it's gonna be so awesome. And all the young people are gonna think like, yeah, man, I'm voting for Trump because he loves crypto. And it's like, this is just, to me, this is just the wrong strategy. I just finished outlining what I think the strategy should be. And look, this news of the Teamsters not endorsing a candidate for the first time since 1996 broke in the afternoon. Trump should have been in Michigan. He should have been in Pennsylvania. He should have been in, if he wants to go to Springfield, Ohio, go to Springfield, Ohio. But I prefer he be in Pennsylvania or Michigan or Wisconsin to be in a Rust Belt state, get up there, beat his chest, and say, look, Teamsters love me. The union leadership is scared. They can't even endorse Harris because they know there's going to be a revolt, and they know that the rank and file love me. He should be there. He should be where he needs to win. He needs to win Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania. That's where he needs to be, not New York. And I don't know, they're chasing some pipe dream of winning the state. There has got to be another reason why he went there. Because, I mean, look, Kamala goes to New Hampshire, a state where she will probably win by 4 or 5. I mean, maybe it might be tighter than that, but you know what I mean. I mean, I think Biden won it by 4 points. And everyone was kind of freaking out in Democrat circles saying, why is she going there? She doesn't need to be going there. Why are we down there? What's going on? Trump's going to New York. He's down by 13 points there. It would be like Kamala going to West Virginia. So I don't understand the move. I don't understand the rationale behind that. If someone in the comments can tell me what they think, why he would be going there, other than just for confidence reasons, for flexing, saying, hey, look, we got this. We're leading by so much. We can go to New York. We can go into their own backyard and just taunt them. But honestly, I just don't think it's a good move. I don't think it's what he should be doing. I don't think he needs to be in New York. He needs to be in the places where he needs to win, and he needs to be talking about the issues that are going to win this election for him. Yeah, Bitcoin, great. I support it. And I like that he is courting that crowd. But how many days do we have to go now? 40 something? He can't be in a New York bar buying with Bitcoin. He needs to be in the Rust Belt states where he needs to win. He needs to be there. So I know it's just one night. There's no reason to flip out or anything. And the rally was cool. Looks like I reposted a lot of stuff from Dan Scavino, but I just look at it and I'm like, why are they there? And I know, I just think of it and I'm like, it's Jason Miller. He thinks like he's telling him to do that. Now, the positive thing is when he came off the stage, he was playing Pavarotti. He was playing Nessun Dorma, which is what he used to play in 2016. So maybe we're kind of back. I think maybe we're back. Maybe the old Trump is back, just like I was predicting would happen when Corey Lewandowski came on board. Just so happens that he's doing it in Long Island where, you know, there's more Joy Behars there than there are Frankie Borellis. But I digress. Or maybe not on Long Island, though. Long Island might be more his stream, but anyway, so I don't know why he's going there. And my advice to them is unsolicited advice, of course. They're the experts running this campaign, La Vida and Wiles, but you got to get him to where he needs to win, and you got to get him talking to the people and about the issues that will win it for him. Trade, immigration. I mean, you can lay off the trade a little bit because trade's not as big of an issue this time around, but you need to find a way to talk to their issues. And I'm telling you, you know, crypto is not their issue. The 55-year-old guy in Michigan, working class white guy, 55 years old, he's not worried about Bitcoin. He's not worried about crypto. He's worried about immigration. He's worried about jobs. And you got to get him back because those guys started to vote for Biden in 2020, and that's why Trump lost. So he needs to get back to courting that group. Valiant Thor says, weird how Democrats are now the party of war. Yes, it is weird. It's crazy. And I was thinking about this recently. When I was in high school, which was during I'm aging myself now, but this was during the Bush years. I guess I can bring this back up for a second. Just us for a while. Whoops. When I was in high school during the Bush years, all you heard from liberals and Democrats was like how Republicans just want to start World War III, trigger happy warmongers who are invading every country for oil, supporting every dictator, and then at the same time overthrowing every dictator, tormenting Iraqis, blowing up villages. It was all about American imperialism. Halliburton. Remember Halliburton? Big profits at Halliburton. Dick Cheney. Um, so yeah, that's all we heard back then. It's crazy how now it's a complete 180. Like now, Democrats want to be in every single country. They want to be in Ukraine. They want to be in the Middle East. They want to. It's like they'll just take money and spend it everywhere. So, and then you have Trump, who, by the way, I don't think he's pushing that enough either. The forever wars. I mean, that was a huge issue for him. Trump's political instincts are actually really good. His personal political instincts are amazing. And that's why 2016 he was so effective, because he was not um, really being advised by any real professionals. It was just like him, and I mean, there was Steve Bannon, but Bannon's an anti-war guy anyway, so that worked out well. But Trump has really good political instincts. He knows where the people are at. He knows how they're feeling about things. He knows when to put his foot on the gas and when to take it off on certain issues. He's willing to change what he's talking about, and he's even willing to change his positions on things to get to where the public is, or to where he thinks a key group is, put it that way. The problem is it's no longer Trump working off of his instincts. Now it's Trump listening to La Savita and Wiles and everybody else telling him what they think he should do. So that's the problem. And I think he'd be talking about forever wars a lot more if it was him running the campaign, like him and Bannon and Kellyanne, as opposed to now when he's got everyone in his ear. So hopefully Corey Lewandowski helps that. I think I've seen a change in the past couple weeks. By the way, everyone watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. Click on the lower right-hand corner. I think there's a picture of me there. And press the bell to get notifications whenever I go live. Leave a comment in the live chat and I will read it. Leave a comment on the post after and I will read it and reply to it. Follow me on X, Florida Millennial. I have to get that plug in every now and then. So yeah, look, the Democrats are now like the party of war, party of nation building, I guess. It's interesting how that has happened, and there's just been so many shifts. Like trying to explain politics to someone now who hasn't been following it for a while is like it's like trying to teach someone a new language, because everything is really backwards. Everything is upside down. Democrats used to be the party of the working class. They used to be against foreign intervention. They used to be for taking care of people. I know I used to hear this all the time. And when I was talking about the Bush years when I was in high school, you used to hear this all the time. People would say, well, why are we so worried about Iraq? What about our people here? Our people are hurting here. And as a matter of fact, you go back and look at the Obama campaign, he said a lot of that kind of stuff. And lo and behold, he did well in the Rust Belt states. Imagine that. So yeah, look, they've done a flip on trade policy. They've done a flip on a lot of the constituents they focus on and cater to. They've done a complete 180 on war and intervention. So yeah, it's a real. There's been huge changes, and I think Trump. I mean, it was happening before him, but he really accelerated a lot of that change. He noticed that there were a lot of issues that the Republicans were just either completely wrong about, or they weren't talking about it in the right way and to the right people. Valiant Thor says, when Democrats are elected, they impose massive regulations, taxes, oversight, surveillance, and country-sweeping censorship. They want our citizens dependent on the government. Yes, you're especially right about the censorship part. However, I don't think that Trump running on deregulation and low taxes is the right play. I mean, he can say that stuff, and that's fine. But I've long been of the belief that he needs to focus on the populist issues. Like, for example, a great example of this is when he went on Gutfeld the other night, and granted, it's not like you're going to get a lot of swing voters watching that. It's mostly people who are already voting for Trump. But he said something on when he was on Gutfeld that I found interesting, and they were talking about fentanyl, and his solution to the fentanyl issue, at least he was insinuating it. He told a story about meeting with Chairman Xi is it Chairman Xi of China, President Xi, and he asked him. He said, "How do you guys deal with your drug problem?" There's like, well, how do you just walk around? There's no drug issues anywhere. And apparently Xi told him, he just laughed at him and he said, "Oh, we execute them. We give them the death penalty." So Trump was kind of insinuating that the way you solve the way you solve this problem is by being tougher on the dealers. So point is, when he says stuff like that, there's a lot of people who think that. Like, there's a lot of people who just think, why can't we just? It sounds harsh. I'm not saying I necessarily agree with it. Maybe I do. Why can't we just like give these people the death penalty who are like dealing fentanyl to our kids and killing them? There's a lot of people who like that outside the box thinking. They like that aggressiveness. They like a little bit of Duterte in some of our politicians, because we've gotten to this point where our politicians no longer think like the public thinks. They're no longer as angered as the public is about the problems. And you hear them saying about Trump in the debate, you hear them saying, "Oh, he's angry. He's angry. He comes across as angry." And Trump actually rightfully responded to this. He said, "Yeah, of course I'm angry. I'm angry what's happening to the country." So I think sometimes anger plays well, and like being aggressive and outside the box ideas like that. They may be extreme and radical, controversial, and a little bit crazy, but I think people respond to that. And another thing is, and I know this doesn't really answer the question, but the point is, I think he should be focusing on issues other than the like regulations, taxes, and all that, because these populist issues work with the voters. Now, what I wanted to talk about too is Springfield, because when Trump made the cats and dogs comment during the debate, it was funny, and like I was laughing and everyone laughed, and now it's like it's like it's gone viral and everyone's creating songs on TikTok to it and dances even. It's kind of wild. But what I was going to say about this is, at the outset, I thought this was a mistake by Trump. I thought he shouldn't have said that. He came across as crazy. And I do think he did come across as crazy when he said it. But here's the thing that I think a lot of people aren't realizing, and Trump has done this for a long time. It's like, I don't really know if it's a skill or if it just kind of happens, but he will make a controversial statement about a topic. So say, and I'm about to prove my point just by the fact that what I'm about to say is true. In 2016 or 2015, when he said build a wall on the Mexican border, people thought that was extreme and crazy. Now they don't think that's extreme or crazy. And in fact, Kamala has said as much, that there should be some sort of wall built. Point is, what Trump does, either intentionally or inadvertently, I don't know what it is, but he will make a kind of semi-crazy comment or statement about an issue, and there will be a bunch of media hoopla about it, and everyone will laugh, and everyone will say, "Oh, how crazy, how extreme, blah, 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 blah." And weeks will pass, and sometimes months will pass. But what ends up happening is Trump sucks the energy over to that issue. You understand? So, like, the migrant issue was being talked about, but it wasn't really the top issue. Now it is. Now it seems like that's what everyone's talking about. And it's all because of the cats and dogs thing, because the discussion evolves. It's like, okay, cats and dogs, that's crazy. There's no cats and dogs. Cats and dogs aren't being eaten. Okay, well, what is happening there? Well, we're sending someone there. Well, oh, there was a migrant issue there. Well, what's the migrant issue? Oh, well, they're there. Well, why are they there? Oh, well, they let them in because of blah, blah. And you see, eventually, you just get to the point where you're just talking about the migrant issue. You're not talking about anything else. So, in a way, he has this weird way of like directing the attention towards the issue by saying something crazy about it at the outset. So, I'm just beginning to wonder whether or not now that was a mistake mentioning that in the debate, because if you ask me, it sounded a little bit nutty. It was something that had just come, there were like rumors of it. It was just a couple days before the debate. There weren't really any confirmations, and for him to go into the debate and just say that is a little bit crazy. But now people are talking about his issues: immigration, migration. They're talking about the things that he cares about and that his voters care about. So I don't really know if it was a mistake anymore, really. Kelly says Trump 2024. Thank you, Kelly. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Appreciate you. So anyway, I think I've really hit all I want to hit. Again, I don't want to be Trump, Kamala every single night, but tonight and many nights leading up to the election, it's going to have to be. Oh, so let's check out and see what's going on with the poly market, betting odds, and everything else. So Kamala has made some gains in poly market. Let me just make sure this is up to date. Yes, yeah, I knew it. 51.47. Okay. Yeah, 51.47. So Trump was leading and it was tied. So Kamala's made a little bit of, she's made some gains now in the betting odds. And I think that's because Pennsylvania is really tight. There's been some favorable polling that came up for her. And look, there was a time when her odds of winning Pennsylvania were down. Now she's up. So we've seen a bit of a shift in poly market betting odds. I don't know how much cachet you want to put in betting odds, but that's what they are. Nate Silver's chances have tightened up significantly. He had Trump at 60%, 60 something percent 2 weeks ago. That is now, I think, 51 or 52%. So the race is really tightening up. And as we look at the polling here, this is on the Silver Bulletin. This is Nate Silver's site. Pennsylvania, she's up by a point. Wisconsin up by 1.5. Michigan up by 2 points. North Carolina up by 0.5 point for Trump. Georgia Trump up by a point. Arizona, Trump up by a point. Florida, Trump up by 4 points. Nevada, she's up by 0.8, so basically a tie. So look, it's just like these polls are all over the place. But something I do want to make clear, and let me see if I have it. I did have it. Why don't I have it here anymore? Where did this thing go? Do I need to find it again? Oh, no, here it is. Here it is. I want to show you this because this is a very important chart. Take a look at this. Whenever Trump fans are freaking out and blackpilling about this election, I want them to look at this chart. And by the way, you know me, I'm always here to tell you the truth. If Trump is losing, I'm telling you he's losing. If he's winning, I'm telling you he's winning. If you can go somewhere else, if you want to find someone to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you what the data says. Now, the data changes all the time. There's conflicting data everywhere. And it can be wrong. It can be very wrong, as we see here. 2020. This is the Real Clear Politics average. In 2020, they had Biden up by 6 points nationally. He won by 3-4 points nationally. They had him up 6, let's round it up, 7 points in Wisconsin in 2020. He won Wisconsin by less than a point, a fraction of a point. Pennsylvania, they had Biden up 4 points. He won Pennsylvania by half a point, or less than half of a point. Less than a point, I should say. Ohio, they had Biden up 2.5 points. Trump won it by 10 points. Michigan, Biden up by 5 points. Biden only won it by, I think, 1. Arizona, they had Biden up by 5 points. Less than a point he won the state by. Nevada up by 6 points. Yeah, I think he won it by 1 or 2. North Carolina, Biden up by 0.7, less than a point. Trump won it by a point, I think, point or 2. Georgia, that's the only one where they had Trump up by more than he ended up getting. So it's the only state where they overpolled Trump. And by the way, that's why I'm more concerned about Georgia really than I am Pennsylvania, and that has not always been the case. But I've kind of shifted my opinion on that based on polling. Florida, Biden up 1.6 points. They had him in 2020. Trump won it by 3-4 points. So as you can see here, and we're not going to do the Hillary one because we know what happened that night. Same thing. So as we see here, they always miss it. And it almost always, except for Georgia, is Trump doing way, way better than they thought he would. So that means if they only have her up by 0.1%, a tenth of a percentage point in Pennsylvania, Trump has to be winning that state. Same thing in Wisconsin, same thing. There was an ABC poll that I reported back in 2020, and they had Biden winning by, I believe it was 14 points. I'll have to go back and check, but I'm pretty sure it was 14 points they had him leading Wisconsin by. And this is like days before the election. This was even later than we're at now. They had him leading by 14 points. He won the state by a point, I think. 13 points off they were. So I am showing this chart to illustrate that not only do they get it wrong, but the polls are all over the place. So it's so difficult to make heads and tails of what's going on here. But I will do my absolute best because this is what the channel's about. Thank you for watching, everyone. Please subscribe if you haven't already to my YouTube channel. Click the button, little image of my face in the bottom right-hand corner. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell notification so you know when I go live. If you have any more questions, comments, please put them in the chat. I will read them. Let me just check. Let me check X to see what's going on over there. Let's see here. And maybe we can conclude by scrolling through X and just seeing if there's anything interesting to comment on before we leave. I kind of like doing that at the end of every one. I feel like I'm boring people by doing that, but let me just check and see here. Well, we have five people on X. So thank you for watching on X. If you are, please, if you're on X, please click. I guess go to the bottom. How would you subscribe to me on X if you're on there? I just find my YouTube channel, Florida Millennial, or follow me on X, and I always post when I'm going live. Okay, let's take a stroll through X. Why don't we? Do you like long walks on the Twitter beach, on the X beach? One thing I didn't talk about is what's going on with the comments. Oh, another thing. That's the other thing I wanted. Let's just go over what's going on in with Hezbollah. I want to read this article just so we're aware. And I told you I want to make this show about more than just Trump, 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 Kamala, Kamala. Um, Let me just show you this article. Talk about this a little bit. Hezbollah is hit by a wave of exploding pagers that killed at least 9 people and injured thousands. Pagers used by hundreds of members of the militant group Hezbollah exploded near simultaneously Tuesday in Lebanon and Syria, killing at least 9 people, including an 8-year-old girl, and wounding several thousand, officials said. Hezbollah and the Lebanese government blamed Israel for what appeared to be a sophisticated remote attack. An American official said Israel briefed the United States on Tuesday after the conclusion of the operation, in which small amounts of explosive secreted in the pagers were secreted in the pagers were detonated. The person spoke on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to discuss the information publicly. The Israeli military declined to comment. Among those wounded was Iran's ambassador to Lebanon. The mysterious explosions came amid rising tensions between Israel and Iran, backed by Hezbollah, which have exchanged fire across the Israel-Lebanon border since the October 7th attack by Hamas to spark the war in Gaza. The pagers that blew up were apparently acquired by Hezbollah after the group's leader ordered members in February to stop using cell phones, warning that they could be tracked by Israeli intelligence. A Hezbollah official told the Associated Press the pagers were a new brand, but declined to say how long they had been in use. So this is crazy. Like this is an aspect of warfare that we've not seen before. And it makes you wonder like what the future of warfare will be like. Like, is this how it's going to happen? Are like cell phones just going to explode in people's hands, like blow hands off or something? It's concerning. But what's more is that we have such high tensions in the Middle East, and Trump and I talked about this earlier, and Valiant Thor said, "Weird how Democrats are now the party of war." Trump needs to hammer home the forever war issue. He needs to say that he's going to negotiate a peace. He needs to say that he is the candidate of peace, prosperity and peace. That needs to be his message, prosperity and peace, over and over again. Because it seems like Kamala doesn't know what side she's taking on this. She bounces back and forth between Israel. She doesn't want to upset the activist base on the left. But at the same time, you look at what's going on, and I don't want to get too into this story. Maybe we'll touch on this more next week. But the tactics that Israel is taking, I mean, these are very extreme tactics, and you can probably expect some kind of response. And I don't know if they talk about this in the article here. I just kind of took a quick glance. And it doesn't say anything about a response, but you can bet there will be some kind of response. But these things this is how they happen. It's just like tit for tat. This is how it goes. So I'm going to be waiting to see if there's any sort of significant response. I don't know if there will be or not. But anyways, let's take a stroll through Twitter, see what's going on here. If you have any comments, by the way, please leave them and I will read them, or any questions. So see what's going on. Here's a poll: Pennsylvania, Siena Research, Harris 50, Trump 46. I don't know about you guys, but like whenever I watch Charlie Kirk, it's just like I know a lot of Trump people like Charlie Kirk. He's definitely a good fundraiser. I mean, he built Turning Point up to what it is today. But I don't know. Like whenever I see Charlie Kirk, I'm just cringed out. It's just like it's weird to me. Sorry, I have no idea what happened there. I'm back. Never had that happen before. I I don't know. I think maybe the window was overlapping the other one and I clicked back on this on my stream instead. Now everyone's gone. Literally everyone it emptied out. All right, well. Damn. Oh yeah, I forgot that I could show these here. Well, should I close it out? Everyone kind of emptied out when I screwed up the do we saw people on X? We might. Just reminded how I can show these. Okay, people are starting to come back, I think. I don't know what happened there. Comment if you can comment in the live chat to see if we're back. I think we are. Mind you, a lot of the people I'm seeing are probably on X. I don't know. All right. Well, I was about to close it out anyway, so maybe I'll wait a second. I'll scroll some more, I guess, to see if people do come back. Good thing that happened near the end and not okay, I think sorry about that everybody. But these things happen, I guess. See, here's the same poll. This is a Siena poll. The same Siena poll that has Trump down by what 3 or 4 in Pennsylvania has him tied nationally. Like that doesn't make sense. That really does not make sense. Now you got this Forbes Harris X poll, Harris 52, Trump 48, nationally again. I will remind you they underpoll him every time, so be forewarned. Here's Real Clear Politics in the Battlegrounds. Arizona, Trump up. Nevada, Harris up. Wisconsin, Harris up. Michigan, Harris up by like nothing, less than a point. Pennsylvania, Harris up. North Carolina, Trump up. So if you use my rule and apply it to every one of these swing state polls, which my rule, by the way, if you don't know, is that you always add on 2 points to Trump's total because he always is underpolled by about that much. So always add on 2 points. If you use my rule and you add 2 more points on to Trump in these battleground states, or let me show this because I just realized they're not seeing it because everything when I just went off for a couple seconds there. Are we back on YouTube? I hope we're back. Let me just see something here that's never happened to me before. So I apologize for that, but where it kind of just booted me off the screen for a second and I had to recover. At first I thought the stream completely ended. But I don't think the stream completely ended. Okay. Well, people flow back, they flow back. If not, I will end the stream soon anyways. But okay. So let's look at the battleground polling. Harris up by 2. Okay, so if you use my rule, in which my rule being Trump is always underpolled by 2 points and always add on 2 points. No more than 2 points. Always just 2 points, not 3, not 4, 2. Let's go through each one. That means Trump is leading by 3 points in Arizona. It means Trump is leading by 2 in Nevada. It means Trump is up by 2 in Wisconsin. It means Trump is up by 2 in Michigan. It means Trump is up by 2 in Pennsylvania, 2.5 in North Carolina, and Georgia was the only one that he overpolled him, but Trump's probably up by 2 in Georgia. So I honestly do think that Trump is leading in the swing states as it is right now because they always underpoll him in these states. Thank you, Kelly, for the comment. Should I start reading some of the comments before I close out? Should I start reading some of the comments on my Taylor Swift videos? Let's take a look at some of these. I'm telling you, I have never received comments like this. Let me just show you here. Crazy, like I unleashed the Swifties on me here. And they just went wild on me. Like it's just once you start talking about Taylor Swift on YouTube, the algorithm just sends all of them to you. But it was kind of funny reading some of these comments. Let me just read some of them here. Pie Club says this is a safety issue, not a comedy sketch. I think you underestimate the level of conspiracy nut jobs that follow Trump. Taylor just had a credible terrorist threat that canceled her Vienna shows. There are wackos out there. Her safety is at risk when bozos who worship Trump see his comment, and don't understand sarcasm or humor or whatever the heck he might have been going for. Well, I will say, at least Pie Club here recognizes that it was sarcasm and humor. That is a step further than most because a lot of people don't even realize that there was humor involved here. A lot of people just goes right over their head. So this person says Trump is hate. I think that might have been a bot. Joanna Perron 3098 says there is nothing hilarious about putting a bullseye on. Okay, I'm not going to say that or any other. Okay. This should not be taken lightly by you or anyone. First of all, I am not wishing ill on anybody. I was just talking about a tweet that Trump made or a truth that Trump made. I do not encourage any violence at all. I never have, never will. Look, Taylor Swift. I don't have any animus towards Taylor Swift. Jeez, these people go crazy. Haha, we need more Republicans like this guy. Screw the women. 51% of the country isn't that much. Keep up the good work, doofus. I like that he added doofus in at the end there. I'm telling you though, these people they help my engagement, so I really don't mind. The only thing is they end up downvoting the video. So, and I think that has an effect on the algorithm. But look, I'll forgive them for that because they're leaving comments. So that's why I always say when I respond to them, I say thank you for your support. Thank you for your support. That line always throws them because they're like, "What do we do with that? We're used to just arguing back and forth about dumb crap." But I mean it. It's sincere. It's not it's not tongue in cheek because when they comment, they actually are supporting the channel because they're pumping the engagement. So they're doing me a favor. This person says one of the dumbest political campaign moves is to say publicly, "I hate Taylor Swift." Don't believe me? Create a social media account and start saying mean stuff about Taylor Swift. See how far that gets you. He's such an idiot. I saw a poll yesterday that said, I don't know if it was independents or just at large voters, but it said that like 40% Taylor Swift has like a 40%. I don't want to say approval because it's not like a job approval, but her popularity was at 40% nationwide. I mean, that is pretty low. And it kind of goes with my hypothesis about Taylor Swift that she's, kind of like Trump, she's very, very popular among probably a minority of people. Where's the other one? They went crazy, I'm telling you. Hey, look, there's the thumbnail I use for my channel. The title of this video is "Are Men Tired of Hearing About Taylor Swift?" Did pretty well, not as well as my other one, but first guy says, "I am a man. I don't think we hear about Taylor Swift enough." Okay. I liked this comment here. Why, especially the first line. Why are men feeling entitled to be tired of hearing about her? Wait, let me read that one more time for you. Why are men feeling entitled to be tired of hearing about her? She exists. It's possible to just turn one's head or switch the channel. I'll grant you, Trump may be tapping into a cultural sentiment the same way that Harris did with Brat Summer. Good point. But honestly, the most mature way not to consume a product pushed on someone is to not consume that product. I find people who are bothered by how loudly another breathes to be immature and petty. So while Trump's reelection team may have intention behind the tweet, I don't think there was intention. I think it was just Trump being funny, but okay. A regular, mere mortal feeling bothered is a bit middle school. Like, no one is obligated to spin her records. Spin her records? This is definitely a boomer. We've got a boomer on our hands here, I think. Or turn on VMAs or pay attention to the 30 seconds of the game when her face is plastered on TV because NFL is probably paying Taylor Swift to raise female viewership. This person is full of analysis. 30 seconds worth of Taylor Swift exposure is literally 1 to 2 commercials length in time. Not a big deal. I mean, look, I do not want these commenters to stop. If only they would upvote my videos. But look, they're doing enough for me by commenting. So thank you to them. But I have never like, and they started coming in really quick. It's almost like there are Taylor Swift bots that are just ready for you to say something bad about her, and then they just dive in. Like they just swoop in and they swoop in to defend her hardcore like I've never seen it. It's intense. So anyways, all right, look, people are starting to pour back into YouTube. I'm sorry about the abrupt They kicked me off. It kicked me out of the studio for some reason. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, Florida Millennial, and hit the bell so that you know when I'm going live. And that way, I'm going to try and go live. I say every night, but that is like that is a challenge. Um, I don't know about going live every night, but put it this way, I will go live multiple times a week. And my plan and my goal is to go live at around 9 o'clock or 9:30 at the latest 10. Now I know the other night I did a midnight stream. And look, I'll pop on when I feel like coming on. My hair is just wild. How do you tame this? Like seriously. I'll come on if I feel like coming on at whatever hour, but I'm talking about like the stream that I will do on a regular basis. It will be at that time. Still have to try to think of a name for the stream. I just started streaming, and now it's kind of turned into a thing. So I'm gonna try and come up with a name. Got to get that pop filter, and I will be here dressed much more professionally because, as I said, I do not like coming on here looking shabby, just in my sweatshirt. Next time I have David Chapman on, maybe I'll bring back. Should I bring back the jacket? Should I bring back the suit jacket? You go back to old videos of me, and I've got the suit jacket on. This is 4 years ago. Let me actually show you here. Let me see if I can show you that. Let's see here. If you can go back to my my older stuff. Look at this. I mean, look at this. Look at this guy here. Yeah, that's always fun. Hold on a second. Swear this setup is tough to navigate now. Look at this. Look at this guy. Look at him. Should we get back to this? Should we get back to this vibe? Handsome, clean shaven, great hair, great backdrop. Maybe we should get back to that. See, and every stream I would dress like this because it was like it was a rebellion. There was a time when people would rebel by like I don't know, people would rebel by dressing badly. Maybe there was a time when people did that. I don't know. But I don't rebel that way. I rebel the opposite way. So I go outside and I'm just like I look around and it's just people wearing sweatpants and slides and like hoodies everywhere and like t-shirts they look like they slept in. And I'm just like, this is disgusting. I hate this. I hate how we've become. So what I do is I rebel by dressing nicely. I'm like, you know what? By the way, when was this? This was 2020. I think back then too, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do the exact opposite. I'm going to like overdress. And wear like a suit jacket on my stream, on my live stream with like a handful of viewers. I didn't care. So I think we're going to go back to that aesthetic because it's way better. Look at this amazing backdrop here. So look, we need to get the show back to 2020 standards. Am I right? Like we're not hitting it. I need to strive for excellence and not mediocrity. So I will deliver. I will deliver excellence once again. Look at the green screen. It's kind of like it's making my It's making my suit jacket all speckly. Gee, what am I talking about? A green screen? This was my studio. Look at this beautiful window back there. But do I look younger there? This was only 4 years ago. You take away the beard, and I don't think I look that much younger. Or I add the beard, and I don't look that much younger. But look like I'm making a very intense point here. S. Russell, damn, I'm late. Well, it's okay. That's okay. Thank you. Yeah, so if you didn't catch it earlier, I'm going to be trying to go live every night at 9 o'clock, 9:30, at the latest 10. And I also need a name for the stream, for the show. When I did the stream before, the one you're watching now, it was called The Reaction. That's what I called it, The Reaction. What am I talking about? It looks like Jon Favreau tweeted, "Why is he visiting anyone?" This was when Trump had COVID. So that's what it was called. But I don't really like that name. I want to think of a new one. So, if anyone has any suggestions for a name for the stream, that is welcome. But we need to come up with a name for it. So I have many tasks ahead of me. I have pop filter. I have name for the show. I have being on time. Look at me there. Looks like I'm going crazy. Man, oh man. All right. That's it for tonight. I've been on for an hour, almost 2 hours now. S. Russell, I'm sorry that you came in late and joined us late. Diddy. No, I actually didn't talk about Diddy tonight. I don't really have a lot to say about that. I saw that. We can bring me out of here. Give me a second. I saw that that people have dug up like old clips of like Kamala like praising him or something, or I don't know what they were, but they've unearthed a lot of stuff about him and whatever. So, but no, I didn't talk about that at all tonight. It was all the usual stuff, and I did say earlier, for those who missed it, that I do not want to just make the show about Trump and Kamala. It's just it gets boring for people. I know we're in an election year. The problem is this week there wasn't a lot of news. I mean, we have the Hezbollah stuff, we have the phones exploding, but other than that, there's not a lot going on. So next week, hopefully there's more news. Hopefully it's not bad stuff. I covered the debate already, of course. I covered the attempt on the president. There's news that came out saying that this guy didn't get any shots off. And that's one of the reasons why I was kind of hesitant to really comment about it at all, because I was wondering, like, we don't really have the whole truth yet. We don't really know exactly who he was, what he was doing. We'll never know who he was when he's doing. Could be a Fed or whatever. But point is, we didn't really have enough information for me to be like out there talking about what happened. So, I didn't really feel comfortable commenting on it, other than I was praying for the president to be protected and to be safe. And, that they just look, I hear they've added more agents. That's a good thing. But, it's tough. And I don't even know, maybe they'll suggest that he stops playing golf. I don't think he will do that. I think he's like, it's one of his favorite hobbies, one of mine too. So I'd be really ticked off if I were him and they told him, "Sir, you can't golf because we can't protect you." It's like, guys, find a way. This is your job. Now, in light of what we know now, it seems like the Secret Service actually did do a really good job of protecting him, because they found the guy when they were going up and they were doing advanced work, I guess you could call it. on the hole that he hadn't played yet, because that's what they do. They go to the holes that he isn't at yet, and they make sure everything's fine before he gets there. And so, yeah, look, it seems like they did a good job. So good job, the Secret Service, for protecting him. May President Trump continue to be well protected. We need to pray for that. So that's all. Now I'm just rambling, and I was checking Twitter. I was checking Twitter at the end of the stream, and then I inadvertently booted myself out of the stream. So I had to come back and make sure everyone was still here. I that's never happened to me, but anyway. Hello, the Chapman Show. Is this the name of the new YouTube channel? I saw that you went live with the polling guy. I have not watched it yet. I will check it out. But good luck with the channel, man, and I'll have you back soon on the show. I don't think there's going to be another debate, so I guess we were probably wrong about that. Mind you, there might be this. It's always a negotiating ploy. So Trump they may be able to string him back into another debate. Look, politically, I don't think he should do another one because, and I don't know what you guys think about this, but I don't think he should be doing another one because, number one, it is clear that the moderators are there to try and destroy him. They're there to try and make him look foolish. And number two, he escaped the debate with her without her getting any sort of real punches at him. There was no, as we discussed when David Chapman was on the show, there was no huge takeaway knockout line. There was no viral moment or anything like that. So I don't think really she won that debate. The winning for her was to go in and have a memorable moment and to really get him. And she really didn't do that. Trump was his normal self. Moderators were dumb and biased and running interference for her. So, and you know what? Maybe should we read some of the comments that came on the? No, maybe we'll not do that. I don't want to give these people attention, but we got some interesting comments on our last video. So anyway, I don't think there's going to be another debate. But we'll have you back on anyway, so we can talk about the campaign and where things stand now. Look, I think where we're at now, I said I wasn't going to keep talking about Trump and Kamala. As I say, to repeat myself again and again, Trump is underpolled all the time. So you look at these swing state polls and it's he's down by a point, down by half a point. That really means to me that he's up by 2 points or a point. So it's a very tight race. Let me just sum things up by saying this. And I kind of got this. I'm weird. I go out into the real world, and I'm always thinking about this stuff. I'm not as present as I should be probably when I'm driving. Most people, I don't know, are they driving along and they're just like, oh, well, that's a nice tree. And, I have to turn right here. I wonder what we're going to have for dinner. No, I'm driving and I'm thinking about immigration. I'm thinking about demographics. I'm thinking about IQ levels. I'm thinking about the debate. I'm thinking of, my mind is just completely filled with crazy stuff. This makes me sound like I'm mentally ill, but I'm really not. I'm just a very stable genius, as Trump would say. I had a few thoughts this week, and my first thought came when I was at a church conference that went for 4 nights. And when I was at this conference, there was one speaker who, he started and it was like very intense. And he was getting like standing ovation and everything. And I thought to myself, if every Christian in America voted, now I know Christians vote for Trump in large numbers, like he's going to get like 80% of evangelicals. I know the numbers of Catholics are different. But if let's put it this way, if every Protestant and every evangelical in America voted, I think Trump wins. I just think if you got them all out to vote, he would win. Now, my other observation is that this is no longer an election about right and left, populist, nationalist versus globalist. I mean, it is all those things, yes. But let's really sum it down. Let's really get it to brass tacks. Let's really put it simply. This to me is an election about men versus women. I know there are men who will vote for her. Yes, I know that. I know there are women who will vote for him. Yes, I'm aware. But it is my belief that if men vote in large enough numbers, Trump will win. If women vote in large enough numbers, she will win. So we can have discussions about strategy, and I've already talked about that. I think it's crazy, and I don't know if David Chapman's still here, but I think it's crazy that Trump was in New York. Like, why? I don't know what the strategy is. I don't know why you would do that. I don't know, like, was he there for a fundraiser? If there's a reason why he was there and he was then doing the rally afterwards, okay. Because remember, during the summer, he would go for his trial and then he would do a rally like in the Bronx or whatever. Harlem, I can't remember where he did it, and that makes sense to me. But to go to New York to hold a rally, I don't understand the play there. I don't understand what that is. And to me, I think that's Jason Miller telling him to go, yeah, go to a crypto bar and use Bitcoin to buy, and all the bros will vote for you. It seems to me that the strategy that they have right now is young men. And that's fine, that's good. But young men isn't really hitting it. Young men isn't really what he needs. He needs men, period. White working class men. So when you see, like, it's clear seeing where Trump's going and the things he's doing. Look, he's going to a crypto bar and using Bitcoin to pay for, I don't know what, like a 7-Up, of Sprite. I don't know, because Trump doesn't drink. So I don't know what he was buying. But anyway, they have him there doing that. Then they have him on all the podcasts. They have him on the, like, is it Logan or Jake Paul podcast? They have him on Lex Friedman. They have him on what's the other big one he went on? Oh, he went on with Aiden Ross. That's all good stuff, and I think it's good that he's doing all that. But it seems to me that they are obsessing over millennial men when they should be obsessing over white working class men. Because I will remind you, and since more people have streamed in late, maybe I'll start talking about it again. I will remind you, if there's any poll, and this one's for Chapman especially, but if there's any poll you're going to look at, I think this is the most important poll that has come out in this election. Let me go to it. Do I still have it here? Tell me I still have it. Or did I get rid of it? I might have. Anyways, the most important poll this election is this Teamsters poll. I'm going to pull it up here. Because I cannot believe this is not getting more play. I can't believe this isn't being talked about more. This is an unbelievable poll. Second here. I've made it really hard on myself because I separated the window when I panicked when it booted me off. Okay, this is the most important poll of this whole election so far. This was a poll taken um this was in July. This was April to July. This is actual members voting. So this isn't like, you can't say, "Oh, they're oversampling no. Biden 44, Trump 36. And by the way, I hope David Chapman is still here because this illustrates the point that he was making when he said that Biden actually is in many ways a much stronger candidate than Harris is, especially in some of these states, Pennsylvania, Michigan, etc. Look at this number here. This was right before Biden dropped out. So remember, this is when Biden's approval rating was like 38%, 40%. 44% of the rank and file Teamsters voting for Biden and only 36 voting for Trump. Now, what do you think it is now? Most of you probably already know. There it is, the great reveal. Trump 59.6, Harris 34. So 60 to 34 for Trump. This is an incredible shift. And to me, this is the whole election right here. This is the whole thing. Because these are the voters he needs in Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. And it looks to me like these white working class voters, particularly men, because most of the Teamsters are probably men, an overwhelming majority. I don't even know what the percentage is, but I would bet it's an overwhelming majority. It is clear to me, this poll shows that the white working class who voted for Biden in 2020 and were set to vote for him again, maybe not in the largest numbers that they did in 2020, but there was a lot of them were set to vote for him again. They are overwhelmingly supporting Trump, and they are not supporting her. They do not like her. They evidently do not want to vote for her. So this is incredible, an incredible poll because to me it shows that she is extremely vulnerable with this group. And the good news for Trump is if he can hold Georgia and North Carolina, if these numbers are true, he's going to win these Rust Belt states. Because the Rust Belt states are full of people like this. Now, it's not to say there aren't Philly suburbs and Pittsburgh and whatnot. Yeah, all that's still true. He still needs to do well enough there. But it is my belief that these are the voters he ought to be speaking to. And he should not be on Long Island. Look, I saw images from the rally. I saw clips from the rally. Looked awesome. Looked amazing. Trump's playing Pavarotti again as he walks off the stage. Clearly, he's told La Vida and whatever that I'm running this campaign now. We're doing it my way. Maybe he'll play that song next. But there was so much 2016 energy in the building. It was incredible. Let me see if I can pull it up. Like, if you see how this was, I watched a clip that Dan Scavino shared. Let me see if I can find it again. But point is, and I'm happy for all the people in New York who got to see him. But point is, I just don't think he should be in New York right now. I think he should be in Pennsylvania and Michigan. Because these people who say, "Oh, New York is in play." No, it is not. And look, I will eat crow. I will eat a bug. Remember the guy who ate a bug after 2016? I will eat a bug if he wins New York. Um, because if he wins New York, this is the whole discussion about Arizona and everything is all for naught. He's going to win the whole thing. But so I don't know. Look, yeah, New York's probably closer than it used to be, but it's not. This idea that like Trump's going to win New York, I don't know. It's a play of confidence. I get it. Whatever. So. S. Russell says, totally unrelated, but some woman flashed everyone at the New York rally. Wow. Sounds pretty New York to me. Check it out. It says North Carolina GOP governor candidate, not so good news. JD canceled an event with Robinson. What did this guy say, by the way? Can someone tell me in chat? I saw that there was a controversy on something he said on a prawn site. Let's put it that way. North Carolina governor raised Robinson GOP story. So outrageous and funny. Before we get to that, every time I look at this guy, every time I look at this Robinson guy, I start laughing because Trump, I remember when Trump was talking about him and he goes, this guy is like Martin Luther King on steroids. Martin Luther King Jr. on steroids. And you look at Robinson, he's like huge. He's like Ronnie Coleman. Okay. Called himself. Okay. I'm not going to say that on here in case I get yeah. Okay, dude, the only reason I deleted the comment is because I don't want to get banned for it. That's what he called himself? When I heard the story, I thought, oh, I hope he just commented something like really flirtatious and inappropriate, as they say, on a video. But if he said that, then that's a different story. I think he was losing that race anyway, though, wasn't he? I don't really know how much this will affect the whole outcome. What we think this guy calling himself that's going to change the whole race when Trump literally like 2 weeks before the election in 2016 said he was like grabbing women. And then he won. So yeah, I don't know. Was he commenting on something or did he didn't like post videos or anything on there, did he? I'm not asking for a friend, don't worry. Well, that beats the Teamster news. Maybe the Democrats made this up because, like, we can't have this. We can't have the Teamsters not endorsing anyone as a top story on message boards. Oh, okay. I don't think he was winning that race, though, was he? I think he was. I think he's going to lose anyway. Like, but I guess does it affect Trump at all? As I say, I don't think so, honestly. All right. Okay, okay. That's it, I guess, for me. 2 hours. All you guys always join. You always come in late. Like, you always come in at 12:30 a.m. Like, seriously? Should I be starting the show at midnight every night? I can't do that. Well, I probably could. I'm a night owl, so I do need a name. I need a name for the stream. I put my thinking cap on and start thinking of a good name. As I say, it used to be the reaction, but I don't like that name. That was just I don't know how I even thought of that name. All right, let's do one final peruse of Twitter. This is what we do at the end of every stream. So I can bore everyone to death by just scrolling through my Twitter and looking for interesting stuff. And then I'll get on a topic. Oh yeah, here's Axelrod talking about it. Trump is attending DC fundraiser with Jewish donors in DC tonight. Maybe he'll touch on the GOP gubernatorial candidate in North Carolina, describing himself on a post social media post as a. Oh, yeah, okay. Nate Silver says, yeah, 91% in Polymarket. Yeah. Embarrassing disclosure. I was thinking about whether Harris should make a play for Texas, which isn't polling that far behind. Example, Arizona, and the thought she should have picked Beto for Veep briefly crossed my mind. This lasted more than 0.2 seconds. I apologize for the error. Look, Texas is getting tighter and tighter. All these states are. Scott Adams, he always has something interesting to say. You can feel it now. Citizens have stopped waiting for the people in charge to make things better for the country while we mind our own business. That won't work. Men are taking back control now at the citizen level, and you can feel it everywhere. Women too, but mostly men. We sense the leadership vacuum. We are moving to fill it with Trump. Keep him alive. I don't know if you guys follow Anna Kasparian, but I'm telling you, and I've been telling people about this for a while. She is very close to becoming red pilled. I'm telling you. I think she already is red pilled, but she's like one election. She's months away from being on our side. Hilarious that the deranged Biden sweepers are trying to discredit Newsy's reporting on Biden's mental decline. We didn't need her reporting to prove it. We all saw the debate. True. I guess there's a Olivia Nuzzi story about Biden. Is that true? Is this true? Cruz is losing in Texas. It's very tight. I think he's up by 2 or 3 points. But if you remember, he just squeaked by with it in his last one. Let's just see what his last one was. His last one was in 2020. Yeah, it was Beto, right? Speaking of. Hold on a second. This is not what I want. This is not what I want. By the way, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, please like, please comment. I'll read everything in the live chat. Check it out, and S. Russell can attest to that. But go to the, where is this? Oh, you can't. The lower right corner, there's a photo of me, a little tab of my face. Click on that, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell so you know when I'm going live. And if you're watching on X, just follow me, Florida Millennial. Okay, I want to check and see how much Cruz won by last time. Jeez. He's got a huge Wikipedia page here. Okay. Yeah, Beto. Screw it. Wikipedia isn't telling me. It's not Beto running against him this time, though. Yeah, look. Oh, it was 2018. That's why. It was 2018. Yeah, look at this. Mind you, that's because Beto was like a hot commodity back then, remember? So it was 50.9% for Cruz and 48% for Beto. So Cruz really only won it by 3 points. Close to 3 points. So yeah, he's probably he's in for a fight there. I don't know what the polling's saying. You need David Chapman for that. But yeah, look, Texas is close. Texas is getting a lot closer because there's so many people who are moving to Austin. And they're typically like young people, a lot of liberals. So it's honestly not really that surprising that Texas is going the way it's going. The same thing's happening everywhere. Same thing's happening in Arizona. Same thing's happening in Georgia. That's why I think Georgia is actually the state that worries me the most for Trump. The demographics there are not on his side. And Georgia, for whatever reason, is a state that does not like Trump. I don't know. Like even look at Kemp, the governor there. Like, look how long they've been feuding. So, Georgia's a typically very conservative, not very, but reddish state. And Trump struggled there. So I'm now more bullish on Pennsylvania and I'm more bearish on Georgia. So I think he needs to pull out Georgia somehow. But point is, Texas is like Georgia and Arizona in that it has red DNA, but the big cities are starting to fill up with a lot of liberals and a lot of like moderate Republican types, lots of young people, retirees, especially in Arizona from blue states, and they carry their blue state mentality with them. So Austin is like a mini LA. Yeah, well, and what happens too is it's not just that people move there, it's that companies move there and then the companies bring people there. You think, well, logically you think, well, if people are moving from like New York to Austin, that means they're moving there because they're like, well, we hate it where we are, we hate the taxes, we hate the Democrats, we hate the crime, we hate everything, so we're moving to Texas. Well, not really. What's more likely is that like Elon Musk has a Tesla or SpaceX plant or whatever in California, and he moves it to Texas, and like all the people who work there, they come with, and now they're voting in Texas. And now it's like thousands of more people now voting in Texas, and that's just replicated all over the state. That combined with the fact that there are still, and this is an issue that Trump needs to be careful of, and this is why you see all these polls, and you'll see Ryan Gerdusky talking about this a lot on X. He says, well, there's no way this poll has Trump losing seniors by like 9 points. That's not going to happen. Well, true. It might not happen by 9 points, but it might happen by like 4 points or 3 points. I would not doubt it, because there are so many seniors and boomers who vote Republican, but they don't like Trump because of January 6th or whatever. A lot of boomers watch mainstream news. They watch CNN all the time or whatever, like nightly news, and they still think it's like Walter Cronkite. I call Walter Klondike because that's what Rush used to call him. They still think they're like watching the news. They're like, oh, they're saying January 6th was an insurrection. Like, so a lot of those people are not voting for Trump anymore. They may not be voting for her, but. And one more comment on saying that it's men versus women election, because I said I was going to close out with that. What was that, like half an hour ago? Men versus women election. One thing that Steve Bannon talked about in 2016 was that he realized that there were a lot of people who weren't going to vote for Hillary Clinton, or sorry, they weren't going to vote for Trump, but they needed a little push to vote for Clinton, and they weren't ready yet to vote for Clinton. So he said that what they okay, check it out. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining, and come back soon. And I won't be on tomorrow night, but click the bell so you know when I'm coming back. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for hanging around. What Bannon said was, and it's an interesting thing to admit, but of course Bannon is this type of guy, so he will admit it. He said, "Look, what we tried to do is we tried to make the campaign so ugly and so nasty that many women just decided we're not voting. Like, we don't want any part of this." It was like a campaign strategy to make it so nasty and bring it down so low into the mud that the average female voter didn't want any part of it. Like, they're like, I had enough. I hate this. I hate Bob. I'm not voting for either of them, or I'm voting for Jill Stein. And that was their strategy, because they knew if that's what happened, then Trump could win, because Trump had his people voting for him. It was just all these people who were like wishy-washy. So when Trump goes negative and gets down in the gutter, there may be some strategy there. And if there isn't some strategy there, it might turn out to be a good strategy in the end. So, okay. So yeah, Cruz is probably not going to lose Texas, but it's pretty close. I mean, I haven't checked any polling on it. I can check quick right now before I dip, but Morning Consult has Cruz down by 1. Decision Desk HQ says Cruz has a 79% chance of winning, though. And the polling average is 48% for Cruz, 43% for all red. So he looks like he's probably going to pull it out. Oh. All right. All right. So if you are on YouTube, please like, please comment, please subscribe to my channel and click the bell so you know when I'm going live. I will be back next week. As I say, I try and start around 9, at the latest 10 o'clock. So I will be back next week. And what I think I might do is I might put out another electoral college prediction. So look out for that. Like it, comment on it, boost it. So I'll probably put an electoral college prediction. There might be some clips from this live that I'll put out. Look, this week I was at that conference, so I couldn't do any live streams. Or really post much of anything poll wise. And that's the original reason for the channel is to post out updates about what's going on in the race. And I want to keep doing that. And I want to keep staying true to that while at the same time doing live streams. So that's what I'm going to try and do. That's my goal for next week is to get more content out in that light. But at the same time, I love doing the live streams. I love the live feedback. I love I've always liked doing live ever since I was in high school, doing like live radio club stuff, and we had our own podcast back then. It was like 2008 or something, 2007, before podcasts were even a thing. So I've always liked doing it. I've always liked going live. So I will continue to go live, but hopefully next week I will also be posting more stuff, like more content, more updates on polls. And as I say, I'm probably going to do an electoral college map update because I think some things have changed. So I do think Trump's still in a pretty good position, but he needs like one more push because he's sort of, as I said last week, there was a headline that said he was breathing down her neck. Well, he needs to be right there with her, because if he's right there with her, I think he wins, honestly. If he keeps it as a toss-up or maybe even takes the lead a little bit, he's in a really good position. But things can change, and Kamala's, there's still a lot of hatred for Trump out there. So, right now I think the race is like a toss-up, maybe Trump trailing by like 1, maybe. It's a different story in each state, of course. When I say Trump's trailing by 1 nationally, like, what does that really mean? So anyways, I've ranted too much. I've raved too much. This has been 2.5 hours. Thank you to all who've commented. Thank you to all who've joined. If you're joining on X, please subscribe to my account, my X account, Florida Millennial. I'll post updates there, and obviously I tweet there and post there all the time. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the bottom right corner, there should be an icon. You can click it and subscribe. Click on the bell so you get notifications whenever I go live. And I will see you all next week. Thank you so much for your comments. Thank you especially to Check It Out and S. Russell. And who else was big tonight? Of course, Chapman came in, and Kelly and Valiant Thor and Darren. Thank you all. I enjoy all your comments. And I forgot that I could put all your comments on like this. So I'm going to start doing that more again. I kind of forget that you can do that. So, but anyway, thank you everybody for tuning in, and I will see you all next week. God bless.